Hello, welcome back to the Spider's Web, and in this video we're going to be highlighting Achilles and finishing painting the miniature. What we need to do in this video is, as I say, highlighting all these, but yet then painting the hair and the feather crest that he has on his helmet. So let's get on with it, shall we? I'll just angle the camera so it will pick up what we need it to. We'll dry off the brush a little bit and then we can get started. So, in fact I don't want to use that brush. Let us pick a brush that we need or that we'd like to use. I'll go for quite a slim brush, and we'll get in and going over the skin tone using just the Kisler flesh once more. And we are quite simply just going over on the raised areas of the skin, leaving the shadow details that has been picked out by the what do we call it, by the wash. Just need to make sure that we don't cover everything, because we really need the wash to embed in the shadows, so we need that darkness so we can actually see the detail. And there's a lot of musculature on display with this miniature. I'm just trying to be quite careful where I place the paint here, because some of it I'm getting myself all tongue-tied here. Right, let's start the narration again, shall we? So what we're trying to do is, keeping the darkness in the recesses that's caused by the wash, we are building up the light areas, and that will make the miniature look very three-dimensional. It is three-dimensional, but if we don't put these highlights in, it looks quite flat. It takes a little bit of the realistic nature away if you don't do the highlights. So that's why highlights are very important when you're painting minis. It gives the correct dimension. So it might look fairly okay, but when you start adding highlights, it just makes the whole model pop and picks out the details. And now then, I did a bit of a fine tip on this. We'll go over the cheekbones. On the chin. There's nothing else to do. I need to rinse my brush out, dry it off quite a bit, and then once again go over the mouth because I got some of the highlight colour between the lips, and that will do for that part. We are coming back to do more highlighting on the skin tone, so it's not finished yet, but the next job is using, as I said, we want a silver colour for the shield. For that we're using Stormhost Silver. Keep forgetting this is one that really needs a good shake, otherwise it doesn't work. Because the medium and the paint splits in this, and when that happens you can't really use the paint, but we're just going to go straight down with this on the shield and pick out the details of the embossed areas, and also along the top of the shield. I'll also do the back as well, which has a little bit of embossing, and if some of it goes onto the main body of the shield, it doesn't matter because it adds that little bit more to it. We'll also do the same on the armour here. Itchy nose. Always get an itchy nose when I start concentrating. I don't know why, it just happens. But one of those things. There we go, and now onto the shin guard thingamabobs he's wearing. And a little bit on there. Wipe it off on the towel, and again we brush straight down. There we are. And next, I'm not going to touch the helmet with this because it's quite tricky. This particular brush is quite thick and I don't want to hit the face, but I'll do the sword. Like so, and the wristband there. Actually, I think I might be able to get into it. I can't, that's fine. So there we are, that is the metal sorted out. Sometimes the simple effects are the most effective. Next, we're going to go over the skirty thing here that he's wearing, and with that we're just using Steel Legion Drab again, which if you remember is that colour, it's the colour we actually it's the colour we actually painted this part in the first place. In fact, I'm going to put some on the palette. Because I need a bit more dilute than just taking it out of the pot. And for this, we'll go along the raised areas. And there we are. Again, this is not the finished highlight. We're going to be coming back and painting a little bit more of this later on. So it hasn't, well, we haven't finished it yet. There we go. That's that done. Next, going back into the red colour that we used for the leather skirty thing. We'll go back into the corn red, and we'll just add a few touches here and there of red. Just on the top, and that bit was the red mixed in with the Doom Bull Brown. We'll do that again, even though this is the colour that we mixed accidentally a little bit of green into. Doesn't matter too much. You can always work with it. If you make any little mistakes like that, don't worry. We haven't set the colours of what we're going to be using, so it's not a really big issue. Because if you do base colour of one colour, it doesn't mean to say you're stuck with that colour. I'm going to just go over the edges of this red skirt thing here with that. And also I'm going to do the centre of the shield in this colour as well. There we are. In fact, I'll do that, and I'll do that. You can make things up as you go along. You don't have to do everything so precise. There we are. There's also this little circle on the sword. And these two on the back here. And there we go. And well, next, what we're going to do is add a paler colour to the skin tone, and that paler colour is Screaming Skull. I want to lighten it down a little bit, so we'll take some of that onto the palette. We'll take some of the Kislev Flesh and make it that little bit paler. You don't want it to be incredibly pale at this point. So we have two gradations of the flesh colour there. And the darker of the two we're going to use now, and that's going to go as a bit of a mid-tone colour on the areas that the light's hitting, and that's where the wash comes in quite well, because the wash shows you the deepest shadows and you build up from that. So just remember not to paint every little bit of this. You want to be very, very sparing along the top edges of muscles. And that's all you want to paint with this colour. Here we go. I just need to focus myself a little bit. My hand's shaking, as you may be able to see, which when you're doing detailed work isn't the best thing, but something I have to live with every day. My hands are always shaking. So I'll just deal with it. Try and, if you do have a problem with your hand shaking, try to lock them together. So I'm actually pressing against this pot in the hope that that will steady my hand enough. And just run this colour down the toes. And then just the top of muscles along the back. There we are. And a little bit on the face, on the cheekbones, and we're not going to do any more on the face with this fella, because honestly he's just, his face is just basically shaded with the helmet. But anywhere else that isn't shaded will get a coating of this. Also going to go here. There we are. And that is that bit done. Next step is the sandals, and we're going to go back into the colour we mixed and just paint the sandals. And we're just going to do a little bit of highlighting along here. We're not going to go too excessive. There are areas that we've touched with the silver, so we just want to make sure we go over those parts, and that's that. I've just noticed as well I've missed something with the whatchamacallit, the Steel Legion drab. I've missed this area, so we'll do that, and we'll do a little bit more on the main body with the Steel Legion drab. Not, we're adding the same colour but not going the full length of the area that we did previously. So we are leaving some of it to trail away into shadow. Hopefully you'll be able to see that in this model. Next, the hair. I don't want to use black on this one. Let's go for a dark brown colour. And when I see it, I'll be able to pick it up and use it. There we are. We're using Rhinox hide. So, in fact, let's use a bit of Rhinox hide, a little bit of that, and just a spot. You know, as I say, is Greek, so it comes from a hot country. Skin tone is quite slightly darker than the UK. The hair is usually black or very dark, so I'll just add a little bit of black into that brown. Not too much, however. There we are, and we'll just make a very careful attempt at painting this hair. And when I'm saying a careful attempt, we're trying to go along with the hair because it's splayed out along the model. We want to be incredibly careful where we paint. So there we go. Again, try and steady your hand if you can. I'm having trouble here trying to do that because I'm trying to press against something. I don't have the movement, the freedom of movement that I need to paint this, but I'll just try my best not to put paint everywhere, but only where it needs to be. And there we are. There's the hair painted, or the majority of it painted. Still need to touch up a few little areas. There we are. And next we're going to do the hilt of the sword, and for that we're going to use not that one, Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. What's that? Yeah, we'll try to do that one. This one is a nice goldy colour, quite a dark gold. It's Balthazar gold. Do quite like this one. And I'll say it's a fairly dark gold colour. It's not quite shaken enough. That's the thing with these metallic paints, they really need a good shake. There we are. And hopefully we'll do the job. And as I say, it's quite a dark goldy colour. I'm not going all the way over it. There we go. In fact, I'm going to class this as part of the hilt as well, just to break up all the silver. There we go. And so there we are, that's it. We're nearly finished now with it. Next step, again with the skin tone, the paler of the two colours that we mixed. And this is quite important that you don't put this everywhere. Just certain areas will get this. And it's quite literally just a very thin and a very small amount. Of colour that we need. I'm just going on the knuckles. There we go. And that basically is that. All we need for the skin tone there. I am touching up on a little bit on the face because I've just noticed that the highlight on the face is caused by the silver paint that we used to dry brush the helmet, so we need to do a little more, not on that much. We are going to come back in a little while to the face just to pick out the lips again because we have lost them. There we are. And finally we need to mix a little bit of this flesh colour, pale flesh colour, in with the Steel Legion drab to make it lighter still, and then just touch over the very top edges just like so. And that is almost it for Achilles. I think the next time, seeing as the what's it called, the Minotaur was the other one that was suggested for this video, I think next time when we come back it will be the Minotaur. But as for now, what I'm going to do is just using a little bit of Administratum Grey. In fact, no, I won't. I will use what should I use? I'll just go with what I usually do. A bit of Evil Sun Scarlet. A damp brush, Evil Sun Scarlet. I will just go over the helmet, the helmet crest, should I say. And so I'll just go over this, make sure the whole of the crest is covered. I have a tendency of doing it thinking it's all finished, and then when I look, I've completely missed the very top of it. There we are. There's the crest done. Now the next thing we need to do is the hair, and for that we're just going to use a little bit of powdered witch flesh mixed in with the hair colour. Yeah, this is another one where the content split. A little bit. What? Now we've got that. Some of the strands we can make that touch later. Not going overboard with it, just a bit of a touch here and a touch there on a couple of the strands. There we are. And now, just to finish off the crest, using a slightly bigger brush, and Troll Slayer orange. Give it a good shake. Get some paint on the brush. We don't need a lot because it's going to be a dry brush, this one. And all we'll do is just go over the top edges. Like so. And there's Achilles. So that's all we have time for this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. As I say, next time it's going to be the Minotaur, but this time it was Achilles, and this. Oh, in fact, I've forgotten to paint one little bit. Going back to Stormhost Silver. Okay. And we'll just add a few dots here and there on these little spots or raised areas. In fact, they look like metallic rings at the bottom there. There you go. Now, that is Achilles. So, next time, as I say, it will be the Minotaur. But for this video, I hope you've enjoyed it. That's all we have time for. So until next time, take care, God bless, and bye for now.